Hey everyone, this is your host here, Vilma Selage, Life of a Veteran. That's the name of the show. Today we have a double interview. This is actually different from what I normally do because normally I just interview veterans and what they do. However, this is a lot different because, well, we have an active duty member of the United States Marine Corps. And I mean, also, these guys are a music group. So I hope you all enjoy. So this episode is featuring the founding member of REDCON 1, Soldier Hard, a U.S. Army veteran, a 19-kilo Armor Crewman, and a believer in music therapy. Our second guest is J-Deuce, known as Jerry. That's what I'm going to call him, I think, if that's all right with him. He's a hip-hop artist or rapper. I didn't really ask him that. I forgot that one, but he's active duty member of United States Marine Corps, as I said. This man has multiple deployments overseas, not just to Iraq and Afghanistan. He's also been to Japan as well, which is very interesting. And he's also done 2 tours on both coasts of the United States for boot camp as a drill instructor. First off, I want to say thank you guys. Appreciate it because I'm a little person over here, just learning and podcasting. So this is like, I'm actually really excited to interview you all. So who would like to go first, or like, should I ask about REDCON 1, or what direction are you guys want to talk about? Because I usually let the veterans speak.
Yeah, I mean, we could start there. REDCON 1, we're just past the 10-year mark. Actually, it was 10 years ago when I left my first tour as a drill instructor. While you're a drill instructor, you don't really have the voice to do music and stuff like that. So I started making a couple songs. At the same time, Soldier Hard was out in Florida talking to our good friend Sabo, also a tanker in the Army, and they were cooking up the idea of starting a veteran music label, which he was already doing hip hop for many years on his own. But they cooked up the idea of starting a REDCON 1 music group. I'd known about Soldier Hard since years back. I think 2006, To the Fallen compilation came out, and that's the first time I heard him. And To the Fallen was compilation came out with a lot of music artists. It was all veteran type music, but there was only one, or maybe was there 2 hip hop artists on there, or just one?
There was a bunch of 2 on To the Fallen.
To the Fallen.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Well, To the Fallen as a whole was a lot of rock and country and stuff like that. But that album, was the first one that had a bunch of hip hop artists, and he just stood out to me. So when I started making music again, I used to just make music, rap music about whatever I felt like. And I think as I started getting older, I started making more content that was actually a lot more relatable, not just rap about like, yo, I'm the baddest motherfucker, like whatever. I actually started making songs about like, relationships, songs about, going through a hard time, all that kind of stuff. So I made a couple songs. I made one called When You Come Home. It's a military spouse song. It's actually on YouTube. You can search J-Deuce When You Come Home. It's got, I don't know, probably like 500,000 views or something. And that was very military themed. It spoke on that side. It was kind of giving some credit to the military spouses, and when they go through, I have a line on there about where the fuck didn't you listen? I told you powers of attorney don't mean shit in my position. Because a lot of times we deploy, we give them a power of attorney thinking that's going to solve everything, but nope. If that water bill is in your name and you need to change it, that water company might not give a fuck about your power of attorney. They want to speak to the person who, they don't understand the whole military thing. So anyways, I reached out to him and I showed it to him because I thought I was right along the line of the stuff that he was already doing. And he goes, hey, give me props on the song order. He goes, and by the way, I'm starting a military label. I want you to be on it, and we kind of threw that idea around for a while. And I didn't think I had what it took as far as like having the time to do it, or really I didn't feel I was polished enough to do it as an artist. And he just kind of mentored me through this. He said, just keep doing what you're doing. I'll help you through the rest, and come do this. And again, that was over 10 years ago. And now here we are today. I'm currently right now, I'm up in Vallejo, California. Flew out and we did 2 music videos yesterday, actually. So that's how we finished the album. He went down to San Diego back in December for a few days, and we knocked out a bunch of songs then. Then I came back up here about 3 months ago, and we finished the album pretty much. And the only thing we had left was shoot a few music videos. And now, you know, the album will be ready to drop September 11th. But again, REDCON 1 music group as a whole, we've had many artists in and out, mostly military. We've had some civilians, but always with the common theme of raising awareness on, you know, issues such as PTSD and homelessness, suicide, all the veteran issues that are rampant out there. We just kind of bring awareness through this music, and also, you know, to let other veterans know that, hey, you're not alone. You know, they leave the military, and sometimes it's a lonely place where you think, you know, people are weird, but really you're weird because you're the only anomaly, right? But this music kind of speaks their language, so they're like, you know, I'm not the only one. Like there's a lot of us out there, and we've done shows all across the country. You know, 2 years ago on Veterans Day, we actually performed at the National Cathedral, which is pretty awesome for me. We had the President's Own Marine Corps orchestra right behind us. It was live on, what was it, on PBS?
PBS,
Yeah.
We're the first hip hop artist to ever perform in the National Cathedral. Both of us. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is awesome to go out to Washington, D.C. on, you know, representing
Veterans Day too.
on Veterans Day, representing our label and representing veterans all around, and to be a part of this was pretty awesome. And we've done a lot of, you know, others, you know, we've done small shows, we've done large shows. I mean, we got hired by the United States Army before at Fort Polk to they do and of course you were a Marine, you remember like the safety stand downs, you know, it was a check in the box, get everybody in a theater somewhere and watch a bunch of PowerPoint presentations for the 101 Days of Summer or whatever, you know, the Back in the Saddle, whatever they got going on. The Army does a whole week where they dedicate it to safety stand down. And the way that Fort Polk decided to do it, which is a pretty big base, is to hire us at the time. You know, we had a good roster of artists, and everybody had to go to this. That we did, what, 6 shows in 2 days?
Yeah, 6 shows in 2 days. We were the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Our performance, our music was suicide prevention.
Yeah, we actually had to put together, you know, the same stuff that you would learn on a PowerPoint by some, you know, captain just clicking through and stuff. We made it to where we talked about these statistics and stuff like that, how to get the help, you know, all the resources, but we, you know, incorporate into our songs. So hopefully we could reach and actually touch somebody and they understand what we're talking about, not just a mandatory, hey, if you're thinking of hurting yourself, call the suicide hotline. Like, I mean, we would, you know, present that, but also have some of the songs that we've talked about, you know, red flags and stuff like that. Some of the songs.
Loved it. They loved it. They understood it. They liked it better than the PowerPoint presentations.
Absolutely.
Oh, my friend who's a civilian, the reason why Jerry and I got in touch was I reached out to my Facebook, and one of my friends who deals with post-traumatic stress disorder as well, he listens to your all's music, and you know, and he tagged Jerry, and at first I just thought it was just friends of friends, you know what I mean? No clue. Yeah. When I started doing research, I listened to some songs. I know Soldier Heart actually has some solo music as well too that I listen to, and I'm more of a beat person, but I love the lyrics as well too. However, I think one of your guys' songs, I don't know if it was both of you all doing it together, Gold Star Kids. I thought that was definitely good. That was a good beat as well too. But I mean, that definitely, you know, like, your stuff hits home, you know, and it's very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of topics out there that you know, and that I think that's the strength in a Soldier Heart, is he comes up with these concepts that make you think like, man, why didn't I think of that, right? And some stuff like that. I mean, we've done songs on every topic you think of, but stuff that for the most part people don't think about until it's too late, until somebody close to them is dealing with it, you know. And I think Gold Star Kids is something that many don't really think about. I mean, we lost a lot of people in the past few years with this war. How many kids were left without a father? How many kids were left not knowing how to feel about the fact that, yeah, their dad's a hero, but also now they don't have their dad here.
Right, mom and dad's not coming home.
Yeah, so that that was a great topic to touch on, and like I said, there's so many concepts that he just comes up with that it's just like, the little light bulb turns on, like, wow, like, yeah, this needs attention. People need to understand the multiple dimensions of this, I mean, we can call it a problem, but really it's a necessary evil, right? War and our presence in the world, it's a necessary evil. But many people, when they have an opinion on it, it's very one-dimensional. And there's just so many other things that go on that affect people in so many different ways with this whole world, that we just want to bring awareness to it so that people have a better understanding, that in turn affects people's opinions on the whole thing, but more importantly, gives them a deeper understanding. And it gives us a deeper understanding too, because we get caught up on one angle of the whole thing. Also, as Marines, we're like, yeah, kill, let's go fuck them up, but sometimes you got to think about everything else too. Your buddy, you're like, hell yeah, bro, we'll go fucking rounds down range, hell yeah, and then 5 years down the road, when that dude, got out and he's kind of lonely out in the middle of, Ohio, South Carolina, wherever in the world, and you don't realize, like, you were part of that. You were part of the fact that you got them all riled up to do this, but maybe you didn't put as much effort into following up and giving them a call. Hey, brother, how you doing? You're out now. How are things?
No one does the cool down, right? I mean, how do you think there's a proper way to cool people down after war? Or, I mean, is there a proper way?
There's not a single way of doing it. I mean, ultimately it's support, right? And the thing about it is, think about how much effort goes into ramping you up for war, right?
Right.
There's a whole process that the military has down packed, everything from basic training to pre-deployment stuff to making sure that units are, go through and get all the training they need to be ready to be deployable, everything down to making sure you're not a, yuck mouth dental class 4. We put so much effort into the ramping up, but you're right, the cool down doesn't really happen. Why? Because we don't put a lot of effort into a cool down of a unit as a whole. We definitely don't put a lot of effort into the cool down of that one individual that's going from yesterday, he was taking rounds and actually took somebody's life, to possibly, 3-4 months down the road, they're a civilian expected to hold a regular job. So to answer your question, the proper way, there is no proper way, but it does take, that same level of support that we give each other, ramping up. We need to do it on the opposite side. And the military is just not going to invest in doing that as an organization. Right. We have to invest in doing that as people. Because we have a song called "Train for War," and that's exactly what it talks about. They train us for war, but not life after it. So we paint a whole picture of going through boot camp and meeting your drill instructor and getting that aggressiveness taught to you and all this stuff. But then you get out, you join when you're 18, you get out when you're 23 years old, and in those 5 years, it's like time travel when it comes to your civilian skill set. You're basically an 18-year-old again back home. You have all these skills that you can't use because they all deal with war and military. But now you're back home pretty much getting a job at McDonald's, like if you were 18. And even then, it's hard to do that, to have some snot-nosed kid who's been working there for 2 years. So he's 20 years old. That's why he's the manager, telling you what to do. And you're like, this piece of shit hasn't done anything in his life. I've been out there, doing things and protecting this country, and now this dude's talking to me about the fries are cold, or whatever. Like, so we made a whole song about that because it's true. That's the unfortunate reality.
No, I don't know about your experiences. You've never gotten out, right? There's never been any time lapse for you at all, Jerry. You've been in.
Not myself, but Soldier Heart has.
Yeah, I have.
How is that for you, Soldier Heart, having the time lapse?
Well, I ended up getting back in because it was difficult. You know what I mean? It's like, just like how we said, like I had that experience to where I got out and then I got a civilian job and I was at the lowest, but my boss was younger than me, but telling me what to do. You know what I mean? So it is hard. It is hard because, and then you have that chip on your shoulder, like I've done this, and now you're telling me what to do. You know what I mean? It gets so uncomfortable that I end up just getting back in. Because I didn't want to deal with it, because it wasn't at just one employment, it was at another employer too. So I'm like, oh my God, I really can't take this. I'm gonna go back to where I'm a sergeant.
Right.
I'm somebody. Yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, it is difficult, but yeah, that's why I end up getting back in, really.
And we were just talking about that earlier. He got back in, and then once he got back out on that second enlistment, he hasn't had a boss since. He's always just done his own thing, entrepreneurship, and building this brand and everything he can get his hands on. He's always got like something going on where he's his own boss. He used to have his own military surplus store for a while, and whatever, screen printing shirts and like whatever. He's always got some little side thing that he can,
to where I work for myself.
Yeah, where he can, where he has full control, because it's definitely difficult.
Having that experience of getting out, I knew when I got out the second time that I wasn't gonna work for nobody but myself. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna deal with that anymore.
So you're an entrepreneur and a businessman now.
Yeah, definitely. Like he said, my hands is in everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and one thing I've noticed is that it seems like you guys help with the cool down as well too. When I mean the cool down, like people coming back from deployments, and that I don't want to speak for everyone, but like I definitely came back angry. I don't know why, but I definitely had an extra anger, like fire in my belly, whatever the hell you want to call it. But
you had a low tolerance for complainers, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is though too, I think it's my ego was out of control, because you need like the ego that you need for the military is different than the ego in the civilian world. I mean, it's a different it's like apples to oranges. I mean, that's the best way for me to describe it. It's like you can't, it's different egos, it's different energies. You can't match the vibe in a sense. And it was very difficult for me. I mean, I remember going to EMT school one time, and like you'll notice when you're in EMT school or firefighting school, or the academy, you'll get people that want to join the military, but they couldn't though. So now like they're doing what they can do at home, and it's really weird because when you come home, now you just want to be normal, and they're just kind of like, well, it's our world now. And it's like, what the fuck is this? It's like, it's just like, it's a weird dick measuring contest. And I mean, and I'm not really down with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially when somebody's like, oh, you're in the Marine Corps, well, let me measure myself against a Marine, and you're like, I'm not even on that level. We're not competing right now, dude. Like, no. I've done my shit. I'm trying to move on, like let's not go there. Even if you do beat me at this academy, or even if you do beat me at this particular race or whatever, you bench press more than me or do more push-ups than me, so you can go around saying that you did more push-ups than a soldier or a Marine. Like, it's not a competition. You didn't go through what I went through anyways, so, and yeah, and like you were saying, it's that cool down. There's statistics to prove that, to show that, and very little is done. There was a program in the Marine Corps recently when we were doing the drawdown, that units were supposed to come back, and there was all these things you could do around Camp Pendleton. You could go, what's that, where you have the wakeboarding or whatever, get jet skis, all that. MCCS and the Single Marine Program we're paying for all that. You could go out and do like stuff that to kind of tickle that adrenaline, that you needed coming back from a deployment that people were seeking. You could do all that for free, as long as it was like within like 2 or 3 months from a deployment. And they were spending a lot of money on this, And I mean, there was no statistics to show that it was successful or not. I thought it was a great idea because I've also been riding motorcycles for 20 years. I've been the motorcycle club president for every unit I've been at probably for the past 10 years. And one of the biggest statistics for motorcycle mishaps is the guy that's going to kill himself is the 22 to 24-year-old corporal that just came back from a deployment. Why? Because they come back, they have some money, they go buy that Gixxer 1000, and they're looking for that adrenaline rush that they miss, and they end up pushing it too far on that motorcycle and kill themselves. That is the highest. Like I said, that's the age is 23, 24-year-old. The rank is typically a corporal. And the other thing is they just came back from deployment within the past year. Those are some of the statistics that don't change much. You have your anomalies that anybody can get hurt on a motorcycle, but that is the biggest target that motorcycle safety is trying to reach because of that. So that goes to show you something about, now imagine the guy that comes back from a deployment and they went on deployment, but they get back and they literally have 3 months left in the Marine Corps. Within 3 months, they're completely transitioning out of the Marine Corps or out of the military and go back home. Those guys are the ones that are just like, man, like that has to be hard. That has to be hard.
I'm sorry for just, it's a lot to think about, guys. You know what I mean? So it's just, so I'm sorry, folks, I'm just a little, all this stuff's like heavy hearted in a sense, you know what I mean? So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and I'm going to ask, music therapy has always been there for you guys, right? Well, I mean, like music, you know what I mean? I hate to just say like music in general, because I mean, it's your guys' therapy, it's your guys' hope. But I mean, you guys do a lot for like, what do you guys do? Do you guys do any stuff for active duty members, or do you like, what is REDCON music group all about when it comes to
we've done plenty for active duty. Like we went out to Fort Hood. MWR hired us to Single Soldiers Day, performing for single soldiers out in Fort Hood. I also do it in Washington. Was that Fort Lewis? Yeah, Fort Lewis.
Okay.
So we do a lot for active duty, and like you said, Fort Polk. So it's not only just for veterans, but we also do provide service for active duty as well. So now, hopefully, now COVID's like starting to open, everything's gonna be back open. Hopefully, we can get back on the active duty posts and bases all across the United States.
Is it mainly Army bases, or I mean, that you guys, is that how it works out, or does it matter?
We're down for whatever.
Yeah.
It happens to be more Army bases, but I think that's just because the United States Army is a bigger organization, has a much bigger budget for stuff like this. I mean, you've been on Marine Corps bases. Everything's just kind of thrown together with whatever they have there. But I think that's just why we happen to have done more Army bases. But I mean, we'll go wherever.
We'll do it all.
Yeah, we've had everything. We've had every branch in our label, in our music group. We even have one song called Armed Forces, where we have one of every service, even Coastie. We even have a Coastie on there. We found a Coastie the Raps.
Oh, wow.
And we had one from every service representing their own service. That video is actually
epic.
That video's done real well on all over YouTube and iTunes and everything. But yeah.
So for those of you guys watching right now, search Armed Forces REDCON One Music Group on YouTube. You'll see it.
Yes, please do all the plugins, fellas, before I forget. And this is actually we're more audio. I will be going on. This will be viewable in the future as well. So I'm just getting all into this. You know what I mean? I'm very new to this now. My question is, are you guys both from the Bay Area?
No,
just me.
That's just him. Yeah, I live down in San Diego. I'm down by Camp Pendleton. I was raised mostly in New Mexico, but I kind of moved around a lot when I was a kid. But I mean, San Diego is where I've been the longest, my whole life. I've been there since 2004. off and on, aside from deployments and getting stationed somewhere for a couple of years and then coming back.
Okay, I have a random question for you, J-Deuce. It's about the San Diego area.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of a place called The Box?
The Box?
Yes.
I have, but we're probably not thinking about the same thing.
Okay, it's like, I don't know, it's some like area in like San Diego, like where people live. I forget, like, I don't know. It's just random. Like, I have a friend that's from the San Diego area and like they live somewhere and it's like they nickname it The Box or something like that.
No, I'm not familiar with it. That's
Okay.
probably like their own internal name for it, but
Yeah,
if
it's
you
some
tell me
like,
the actual name of the area, then I would know.
now I was wondering now, can I ask you guys more about like your background now?
Sure.
Like as in like why you guys joined, you know what I mean? Like not just the music, but like what actually inspired you guys to join the military? What,
Okay, I'll go first. I come from a long list of veterans, and so I pretty much knew. And if you knew me when I was 12 years old, and you asked me what I was gonna do, I would have told you I'm gonna join the Army. So it was something that was already. I knew college was, even as a little kid, wasn't even in my future. So I already knew. I think I believe like I was since birth. I knew that's what I'm destined to do, because I come from a long list of military background, and we fought in pretty much every major conflict United States have. So it was just my time. You know what I mean? So that's a really easy question for me, because it's like I said, if you knew me at 12 years old and you would talk to me and have a conversation with me, I would have told you I was joining the Army.
Yeah, and as far as for me, I remember my dad took me to my high school. They have that little welcome presentation, and there was these ROTC kids walking around like ushering people. And my dad was, I was originally born in Mexico. We migrated here. My dad was in the Mexican Army back in the day. And so he saw kids in military uniforms, like, oh, I want you to do that. And I was like, fuck no, like I'm not doing that. But he's like, no, you're doing it. And he like, my dad, it's his way, so he found the counselor. He got one of my electives changed to ROTC. I was pissed. But then I joined ROTC and I actually enjoyed it. I met some pretty cool people there. My freshman year, I wanted to do some kind of extracurricular activity. I was already signed up for football, but once we got a list of all the stuff that I needed equipment-wise, my dad was like, nope, we can't afford that. We couldn't. We were pretty broke. So football went out the window. And the only thing that I could join that wasn't going to cost anything and that I could get a ride after school, because if you did extracurricular stuff, you have to find your own ride, was the drill teams in ROTC, because I had made a couple friends there that were like wanting me to join. They wanted to get people to join, and they offered a ride. So I ended up doing that, and I was like, just to do something. And then we went on our first competition trip, and the things that happened on that bus, for a young man, kind of sold me on ROTC, obviously because there was a mix of males and females on this bus. So I liked ROTC. It was something to do. Later on, I got to play football, soccer, and everything, but I always stayed with ROTC, and that's all it was supposed to be. But then being there, you meet all the recruiters, and I just remember the Army recruiter, I remember the Navy recruiter, I remember the Marine recruiters, and the Marine recruiters just stood out for me. They were clean cut, they were in shape, they were some big old meatheads at the time. I still talk to my recruiter to this day. And then I saw the silent drill platoon perform one day, and I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do as that's my dream job. So later on, when I found out that you have to be, 5'10" minimum, 5'10" to 6'2" to be the silent drill platoon, that killed that dream, because I'm only 5'8" on a good day.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that killed that dream, but I still wanted to be a Marine. I saw, the blues, like I said, those recruiters really they exemplify. Yeah, they really sold it, because they like I said, I still talk to one of them to this day. And to this day, he still cuts his own hair. He's still a clean cut dude, always hitting the gym. He's a retired master now and everything, but he's still the same way. He's a flashy dude. And compared to the other recruiters were offering lunch and they were cool and everything, but these guys just kind of stand there and look at you. And the other guys say, hey, the Air Force, you want a backpack and a pencil and this and that? And all right, cool, thanks. And you go up to the Marines, like, can I have a pencil? Yeah, if you do 10 pull-ups. Oh, I can't do 10 pull-ups. All right, give me 30 push-ups. You can have a pencil. You know, so all that, like that hardness kind of way that they sold it, like attracted me. So since I was 16, I was telling people that I was going to be a Marine. Mind you, I wasn't even legal at this time. I was still illegal in the United States. But I told everybody I was going to do this, and I had to figure out how to do it. By the time I was 18, finally, you know, I was able to become a legal resident, and there I went, you know, and it's been good. Like I said, I'm coming up on 20 years. I hit retirement here in February, and it's been a hell of a ride.
I mean, and you've literally been damn near everywhere. I mean, you were stationed, your first duty station was Japan, right? Was it Okinawa or was it Iwakuni?
Okinawa.
Okay. Just want to double check. I mean, people normally would say Iwakuni, like, but you know, just gotta specify sometimes. Plus, I don't know, like I was in Okinawa as well too. So were you there for the red cards and all that, or was that a thing?
No, it wasn't. I was there right before that. So our libo policy at the time, if you were a A3 and below, you know, you had a curfew and you had to have a libo buddy everywhere you went. You signed out with the libo buddy, you came back with your libo buddy. Once you're an NCO, then you could be out in town by yourself. So I was, like I said, at first I was like, but I mean, it's anybody that's been in the military knows how we find ways around rules. I mean, there was plenty of times where there was the one spot on the fence where if you lost your libo buddy, you were both gonna have to come on base without a libo buddy. And the only way to do that was not to come through the front gate. So there was a spot where like the fence had like a clear sag on it, and there was a mattress laying on the other side because people would throw the mattress over it. You know, it's got the barbed wire and everything, and come on base right behind the it was called the Habu pit, which was, I believe, the Staff and CO club out there. Right behind it, you know, jump the fence there. Or before I knew that trick, there's plenty of times where we would literally, there was a place called My House right outside of Fatima. It was a little restaurant that was open like all the time, and it had like a little park outside. So if you lost your libo buddy, you were literally hanging out in that motherfucker all night. You would miss curfew because you would rather just in the morning find somebody to come on base with, so that the MPs didn't know who your libo buddy was. They didn't have that list. That list was in the barracks. So as long as you came back with somebody else, they saw your ID, you're on E3, there's got to be at least 2 of you. So if there's 3 of you, cool, you're all libo buddies. They let you on, you get back to your barracks, and you find a way to get back in, you know, to your room without the duty seeing you, and then later on be like, hey man, you know, last night I came back and I forgot to sign in. You mind if I, you know, but I'm here, I've been here, I was asleep, you know, you might, you know, and try to figure that thing out. Because once you're an NCO, then you could be out on the line. But it was shortly after I left that they started the gold card, red card bullshit. So lucky for me, I missed that.
Okay, now Soldier Hard, were you ever stationed in Korea? Because that's like the only place I know that's overseas for like the Army. So, or were you just deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan?
I was never in Korea. I was lucky. I was one of the lucky ones that never got selected to go to Korea. So
why do they say that? I'm so sorry for cutting you off, but I've heard you're not the first soldier that said like Korea is like the no zone. You know what I mean? Like no one wants to.
You see, exactly. No one ever heard anything good about Korea. It's just that there's nothing ever good said about Korea. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And especially my MOS was a 19 kilo, a tanker. You're gonna go to Korea. So I got lucky that I didn't get selected to go to Korea. So now I was Fort Hood, Texas, Fort Riley, Kansas, and Fort Bliss. Yep.
So Texas and Kansas.
Yep. Fort Riley, Kansas. Yeah. Also Texas and Kansas where I pretty much was at.
The fuck is in Kansas? I mean, I didn't even know there was a duty station. Like, do you guys call it duty station? Or do you call it post? Like how?
It's a post.
Okay.
Army is post. Everything's post.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's Army posts everywhere. You'd be surprised. Everywhere. Even in my hometown, there was a post nearby.
Really?
White Sands Missile Range.
Yeah,
Oh,
White
yeah.
Sands Missile Range, New Mexico.
Yep.
I was there too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Army has a lot of places.
Well, I guess what was your favorite place to be at Soldier
Fort
Hard.
Bliss, Fort Bliss, Texas. I had a blast. I love Fort Bliss, Texas. El Paso.
Okay, that's where it's. I was about to. That was my next question. Was where was it at exactly? And now,
El Paso, yeah, El Paso, Texas.
Which ironically is like 30 minutes away from my hometown where I went to high school with in Las Cruces, New Mexico. You know, it's like right there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're probably in the same AO, you know, at the same time for a while there.
now, before I wrap this up, because I don't want to waste your guys' time. I mean, I really appreciate the time that you were giving me. So thank you for that. Is there any shout outs, or is there anything that you want to say? Is there any thoughts and feelings, or I'm pretty much giving you 5 questions in one, but is there any thoughts and feelings about what's going on in the atmosphere today with, you know, I mean, I feel like with Afghanistan, I mean, like, you know, with Afghanistan and, you know, and like what's going on out there, because I mean, it's, you know,
Crazy.
it's a
Yeah.
sore I don't know. I think it's a sore subject, and I've actually been avoiding talking about it. This interview. I mean, I've been treating.
I
it
tell
like-
you what, you're gonna get a lot of veterans and warfighters say that, you know, dang, it was all for nothing.
Yeah.
Man, what was my service in Afghanistan all for nothing? You're gonna get that a lot. You're gonna expect to hear that.
Yeah.
I
think
you
I
think it's,
think the main thing is like I don't want to avoid the topic, but here's what I think gives a lot of people that you know that bruise, you know, in their feelings a little bit when they start talking to somebody else and different opinions get set around is before you create an opinion, like just be informed. And information, social media is not the best source of information. It is if you can remain subjective and get it from different places, right? But if you're just one of those people that's stuck in your echo chamber and your entire, you know, if you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, your entire friends list are all people that think like you and share your opinions, then whatever you think, that's why it's an echo chamber. You just hear other people saying the same thing. So that makes you feel like you're right. How can anybody else, you know, think differently? Well, that's because you surrounded yourself with like-minded people, and in your reality, in your world, that's what the majority of people think. But that's not the reality. It's just you surrounded yourself with people who agree with you, and you're the type of person who gets butthurt and deletes people off your Facebook when they don't. And so now you don't have a good view of the world. You are narrowing your view. You know, it's like getting a hotel room with the view of the ocean, and you know, and all of a sudden you start doing this. What if your view ends up being the one part that's ugly on the beach, and you say, yeah, Hawaii has an ugly ass beach. Well, you're looking at this because you've blocked yourself from everything else. So if you want to have an opinion about what's going on in Afghanistan, it's just to educate yourself. And that includes me. The reason I haven't really created opinions because I haven't taken the time to really, I mean, I've seen the same social media that you all, that everybody's been seeing the past couple of days. And I mean, what's the go-to way of dealing with things for veterans is the dark humor. And I've seen a lot of that, right? A lot of the memes, yeah. We just saw one that somebody made a shirt that said the Kabul skydiving team, and it was like the C-17 with like the 2 dudes falling off.
right.
You know,
They already made shirts for that.
yeah, like yeah, that's already and like that's hilarious and everything. But I'm not gonna use that to form my opinion on what's going on. You know, like these people are desperate. That's the only reason you would hold on to the side of a fucking plane. You know, on top of the fact that, you know, I mean, these people are ignorant, you know what I mean? And again, I use the word ignorant, not stupid, just ignorant. They just don't know, you know, to some of us, understanding how an airplane works, you know, might be common fucking sense. But for somebody whose whole skill set is literally like running a farm and survival and maybe raising some goats and stuff, like, what the fuck?
What know the landing pad goes up.
Yeah, they won't know that. They might have seen one old 80s movie where somebody like tucked themselves under a landing gear and was able to fly across the country, you know, or across the world. And that's what they think they're going to do. And before you know, they're plunging into their death, you know? So that's nothing to actually like, that situation is not something to laugh about, right? When we laugh about, we're laughing about just the ridiculousness of the world and how media portrays it. But if you want to actually create an opinion on what's going on out there, like just educate yourself. That's all I could say. If you're educated and you actually, again, avoid that echo chamber and actually see different points of view on everything, even the enemy, man. Some of the best war fighters in our time have been very good at understanding the enemy, at understanding their point of view, and being able to say to look at things in such a way they're like, I can see why they're so passionate on what they believe. I can see why they agree in this, or why they all agree that this is the right thing and why they're fighting so hard. I can see it. I'm not just looking at them in a disrespectful manner, like they're just fucking stupid for believing what they believe. No, you actually understand why they believe what they believe. However, my interests are different. If I was in his shoes, I would believe the same thing and I would be fighting for the same thing. But I'm not. I'm in these shoes. My interests are different. So I'm going to fight for the interest of me and my country. And that's where that mutual respect comes, with the enemy that makes our great generals and war fighters overall. So in the same manner, if you want to look at what's going on in the world, not even in the world, in your own country, because it happens more here in our own country that people just pick a side and they're so caught up on not being wrong that once they pick a side, they stick to it. Even if there's a million things pointing to you're wrong, they don't want to be wrong. So they shut that stuff out and they just keep looking for things that say that they're right and keep, pushing that out there and posting that in their Facebook. And meanwhile, the left is deleting the right from their friends list and the right is deleting the left or whatever. And those echo chambers happen. And at the end of the day, we're just hurting ourselves as a nation, right? And the same thing happens with opinions worldwide, with what's going on out there. Like it's deeper than most people think. But when some people hear deep, they automatically think conspiracy, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah, they see the picture of the guys out there and they're like, oh my God, look at that weapon, right? You see the weapons, that they're carrying. You see the straight, the straight trigger finger. Like you could tell those guys were trained by US troops. They have the same RCO that we have and stuff like that. And right away, like, oh my God, people are like, yeah, no, we trained those motherfuckers because we wanted them to take over. You know what I mean? And they don't have the same, a lot of them don't have the same loyalty to their country or the cause that we do for ours, or maybe they do, but they never had the loyalty that they never had the same alignment and beliefs that we were trying to, look for. They just got the training. And then when somebody offered them more money, they're like, yeah, I'll go fight for that side, within their own country. So yeah, you see these guys that have the same weapons we have and the same training that we've had and everything, but it might not be as much of a conspiracy as you think. It's pretty common fucking sense if you really look at it, because it happens everywhere. Look at the cartels in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like the most powerful cartel that caused the most destruction in the past, 15 years were guys that were military. They were trained. A lot of those guys were trained by the US to the special forces so they could take out the cartels. But corruption made it to where those same guys, the cartels were like, hey, hold on. I know you want to come out and kill us and everything, but check this out. Your own country's military pays you this much. Think about your family. I'm going to times 10, 10x what you're getting paid. Come work for me. And a lot of them did. And then once they were providing security for the cartels with the training from the special forces in Mexico, some of which the United States provided, right? Now they're working for the cartel as security. And then they get more guys over. Before you know it, they're so powerful that they start looking at the cartel themselves like, wait a minute, we're really doing all the groundwork. We're your power. What do I need you for? So then those guys started running drugs themselves, paying themselves. It's a natural progression of things when you don't look for the root cause, when you're trying to find a solution by chasing the problem instead of finding the root cause of the problem and trying to fix that. So the fact that it's happened in Afghanistan, the fact that it happened in Iraq multiple times, right? It's happened in Mexico, it happened in Colombia. It's all the same shit. It's all like, I don't know, sometimes the expression of read a book, motherfucker, sounds condescending, but literally, like, I took a psychology 101 course and it made me a better father. It made me a better drill instructor. It made me a better friend. It made me a better everything, just from understanding the psychology of things. And every single book that I've read that actually like expands my knowledge and things that we all know, but it actually puts it in order, changes the way that you judge things. It's deeper than you think, but it's not so deep that it's like, oh my God, fucking aliens. You know, it's not the tin hat type fucking depth. So that's, and I know that was long-winded, but that's my whole piece when
No,
we get
you're
into some of
fine.
these
You're
topics.
fine.
Some of these topics that are kind of like iffy, oh, I don't want to get into that topic. Well, that's why people don't want to get into those topics, is because people hold on to, oh, well, I've made up my mind that this is the side I'm sticking with, and you can't change it because I don't want to be wrong. Some of the most successful people in the world will quickly recognize when they're wrong and remedy it as fast as they can. Look at Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, or anybody, whoever you want that's successful. You know, if you're whatever, Donald Trump has failed many times, but he's still one of the most powerful motherfuckers in this world. You know, a lot of the most powerful motherfuckers in this world have failed, but instead of sticking to their guns, they realize that they made a mistake, or that this is wrong, and they remedy it. They fix it quickly and keep it moving. You know, don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to be wrong in an opinion, in a decision. Just keep moving, keep learning from it, and that's how we grow.
Is there any books that you recommend? On top of your head? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot, but if I have to pick, here's the thing. When we talk about veterans and stuff like that, I find one of the things out of the books that I read in my own analysis on some of the problems is when it comes to suicide, when it comes to anything, in the way we live our life, and in our country, you know, a lot of times it boils down to financials, right? So if you can, and our school system does a terrible job at providing financial literacy and financial education as a whole. We just don't teach it. And you see some kids whose parents know it very well and teach it very well. Those kids are set up for success, and they make good decisions from a young age financially, and they never have to struggle. Where a lot of us, we're having to learn the hard way. Our parents couldn't teach us that stuff because they didn't have it themselves. So number one, you know, books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, books like Dave Ramsey's what's it called? I forget what it's called, but if you look up Dave Ramsey, it's his most, you know, famous book ever. But Rich Dad Poor Dad is the other one. I would say the Dave Ramsey ones is for most people that are like already in debt and need to like really recalibrate how they're doing to get out of debt and fix their shit. If they're already behind, Dave Ramsey. If you have a somewhat steady foundation, but you just want to be able to look at money in a different way to set yourself up, then Rich Dad Poor Dad. So that's on the financial side. The other side, just the way you think, and to change the way you think, is there's a book called Start with the Why, and there's a book called Outliers. Those two books I would recommend to anybody. Start with the Why helps you be able to find that root cause of a problem, or the root motivation for why you're doing what you're doing. A lot of people will tell you that the iPhone is better than Samsung, but they can't say why. They can't explain why. Well, there's a reason. It's branding, right? You buy an iPhone, it makes you feel a certain way. You buy an Apple computer, it makes you feel a certain way. Even if the Macintosh or whatever other brand, you know, Asus or whatever, has the same shit, you feel different with the Apple. And as long as you understand that and you're paying for that, then cool. It doesn't matter if you're overpaying. You feel better about it. It changes the way you feel. But it starts if you understand the why. Or when you marry somebody, you have a better chance of your relationship going somewhere if you understand the why. Why did you marry that person? Is it because they have money? Because if it is, there's something necessarily wrong with that, but you have to be able to face that up front. Is that because a lot of people fail because they marry somebody because they're marrying what they think that person can become, not who they actually are right now, but the illusion of who they could be. And that's not who you're marrying. There's no guarantee that's the person they're going to be, right? So Start with the Why is a great book in that sense. And then Outliers is another great book because we grow up with this American dream, right? Dream big, and you can be whatever you want to be. Yeah, that's true in a certain sense, but not necessarily. You have to be at the right time, at the right place at the right time with the right skill set to be successful. You know, if Steve Jobs would have been born 3 years earlier or 3 years later, he would not have been who he is. There was a very small window for those guys where the tech was at that stage that it was developing so fast, and they had the interest at the right time where they were just able to accelerate that and be who they are. And that's been proven throughout life for all of history. Beethoven, Mozart, like a lot of those guys, you see some of their earlier work and it was trash. They're the best composers in history, but some of their earlier work was trash. It wasn't until they got those 10,000 hours of practice that they were able to become, geniuses. Some of them were early on in life, some of them weren't till way later. But Outliers talks a lot about that and covers that in such a way that it's going to make you see things different. Any book that re-baselines how you look at life is going to help you, because everything else you already have. You already have the social media, you already have the social and TV influences and radio and all. You already have that, just like the guy to your left or your right. But if you can read a book that changes the way you view things, now you have both, and you're better prepared to accelerate your success and your prosperity. Again, just happiness overall, financial, relationships, whatever the case may be. So again, Outliers, start with the why overall, and then Rich Dad Poor Dad, or Dave Ramsey's
Is it 7 baby steps or 7 steps?
Yes, 7 baby. He's got his 7 baby steps, but I forget what the book is called. Total Path to Financial whatever something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soldier Heart, I have a question. Do you have any books to recommend?
No, I
Are you a
read the
reader?
ones he tell me about.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Like, I didn't like that was. I mean, that sounded really rude, but that wasn't like I wasn't trying to be like. I was just blunt, not rude. I apologize.
No, that's no problem at all. No problem at all.
Okay.
But no, he covered it all.
All right. I have a question for you. Now, one more question. Have you heard of the 7 Daily Habits of Highly Effective People?
Yes.
Okay. What are your opinions about that book before I let you guys go? This is just personal. This has nothing to do with the pod.
Yeah.
This is just me.
Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, the military's really adopted that. I've had that book since like 2013 or something is when I bought it. But now you can actually do like a 3-day for the Marine Corps anyways. A lot of senior enlisted do it, and officers. It's like a 3-day seminar. You go and you do a course on basically on this concept. Yeah, as always, it's a very powerful book. It's great. But there's just like anything, I am against any program or anything that leads you to believe that, hey, finally, here's the answer to your problems. Here's the easy answer to your problems. And I feel like that book is written in such a way where it's kind of portraying that idea. And the reason I bought it is because I'm a terrible procrastinator. I am. I literally started packing 10 minutes before this Zoom instead of doing it an hour ago. And I was like, okay, we're about to do the Zoom. I need to start packing stuff for the Zoom. We're gonna hit the, I'm a terrible procrastinator. So that's why I got the book. But it didn't change it didn't teach me anything that I didn't know, which most books don't, right? If you're an adult and you've lived, even the books I'm talking about, it doesn't necessarily teach you anything, but it just puts some structure into what you already know so that you can digest it better. And that's what that book did. But I would say that if you had to learn the time management skills that it takes to be in the service, that book isn't going to teach you anything you don't already know. If you really think about it, even all the way back to boot camp, like you learned those things. A lot of those habits, you probably applied them in boot camp, or you probably applied them.
Dumb as hell now.
What's that?
So I feel dumb as hell. Fuck that book.
No, I mean,
No, I'm just kidding.
It's a good book, you know what I mean? But I guess what I'm saying is, would I recommend that book to anybody? Yeah, I would recommend it to everybody. That's why it's so popular. But it's not going to give you any answers that you don't already know for most, especially veterans, for most of us.
Right.
Yeah, there's some of us that get into this habit of you become successful. You make it through boot camp or basic training. You make it through your AIT training. You get your MOS. You make it through being a fucking boot. Like that's hard. Hitting the fleet and being a boot is probably one of the hardest things in the military, because there's no answer and you could never be right. At least in boot camp, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? You're going to graduate. When you're a boot, or the Army, they call it a Joe, like you're the new guy in town, you're just wrong no matter what you do. And it might take you 2 months to get out of that shithole and be part of the group, or it might take you 2 fucking years. It depends on how much you suck, how much you're liked or disliked. When the new guys come in, like there's just so many variables. It's one of the hardest things. But at the time we become successful in all those things, and then we get complacent, right? We get to the second part of our enlistment, you know, where you're the salty guy, where you're the guy that, you know, you have that little bit of, you know, dust on your shoulder. You've been around, and then you start falling into some habits that nobody formed. You formed them out of comfort, and then that becomes your personality and your character, and now you can't get out of it. And the reason it becomes a solid form of who you are now is because you're already proven. You've proven yourself in your unit. You've got the quals that you need. You've got the skill set that you need. You can do that shit with your eyes closed. You know, you can whatever, drive a tank and shoot or do whatever with your eyes closed. That's fucking easy. So once you have that down, the same way that we were talking about how the military prioritizes training you up for war,
Right.
they're training you up for this. Once they've trained that on you, then they're kind of, you know, the system is kind of done with you. Like, you're trained, you're good. We're concentrating on the other guy that needs this now. You're good, you're proven. We're not gonna fuck with you. You know, like, don't fail field day, and then that's about don't fail field day, don't get a DUI, and don't kill a hooker, and that's pretty much all we expect from you. Other than that, you could do no wrong. Yeah, so your hair's a little bit long. Okay, yeah, so you're growing a nasty ass mustache. Okay, yeah, your camis are a little faded. Okay, but you know your job so well, you know, and you could go through with this for years, and then you get out, and that's what you're used to. That's the person you've become for the past 2.5, 3 years, and the person that you used to be, the one that took on challenges and was always challenged and pushing forward and learning a new skill set and growing, you haven't been that person for years, but you have it in you. And I think that book will just kind of remind you that you have those things and maybe help you, you know, structure it again, because the military is very good about structuring things for you. I think that's why a lot of veterans are so successful in the military, but can't seem to get it together in the civilian world sometimes, is because they have the strength, they have the intelligence, they have everything they need to be successful, but everything was structured for them. I mean, you get told when you need to go get your fucking, you know, your teeth cleaned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody in the civilian world tells you when you need a cleaning, even if you have a good dental plan. They're not going to call you and tell you need to schedule a cleaning. You know what I mean? Like, it's on you.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're more set up for success in the military as opposed to you are in the civilian sector. That's what I notice. Because there's more of that camaraderie, you know. I mean, there's more of that, you know, like, you gotta let the other person know what's going on, in a sense, you know. You don't really do that as much, and you really don't do that in the civilian world, you know. I mean, it's not as you're not relying as much on other individuals, you know, on other people, you know what I mean? Because it's
yeah, and ironically, that's what people say, or I don't want to say they actually want to get away from it, right? You don't, like, when you're in the military, you hate that your first sergeant is calling down there saying, "Hey, motherfucker, you need to go get your fucking typhoid shot. Hey, motherfucker, you're on the dental hit list. Hey, motherfucker, you need to clean your room. It's Thursday again. Hey, motherfucker," you know what I mean? Like, you hate that. You're like, I can't wait to get the fuck out. I can't wait to get out. But just like you said, those things that we hate, that's exactly what we're talking about when you say you're set up for success in the military. That is the structure. Somebody is there to tell you, right? They don't just tell you, hey, you're going to Afghanistan and, you know, whatever, November 15th approximately is when you're leaving. Okay, get your shit ready. I'll see you then. Fuck no. 4 months earlier, you're going through the roster, make sure everybody knows, hey, we're going to inventory your SIF gear. Do you have all your shit? Hey, fucking, did you go to legal and set up a power of attorney? And, like, everything is set up for you. And every single one of those, you're sitting there like, oh my fucking God, here we go. I've deployed so many times. Like, I could do this with my eyes closed. In reality, if they didn't make you go to those fucking briefs, you probably wouldn't do it. You'd probably be the guy that deploys and all of a sudden, oh, excuse me, Staff Sergeant. I don't have my groin protector. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But there's a reason why we do those things, and we hate it. We complain about it all the fucking time, but that's exactly what sets us up for success. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe because I've been in so long, I'm kind of institutionalized into a little bit more, or I've seen it bite people in the ass and bite me in the ass enough that now I actually believe in it. I do believe in what we do in the Marine Corps. All the shit that we complain about, I understand why we do it. The problem is how we do it and how we communicate it. That's something that nobody in boot camp or in any leadership academy, not sergeant, school or career course, they don't teach you how to deliver these things, right? It's very structured on like, we talk about things like, obviously communication and leadership and tact. We say these words, but we don't truly believe them because we look at it in such a structured way. People don't fall into a certain, a cookie cutter shape. Even though we train that way, we don't. I could tell if I worked for you or you worked for me, I have to know who you are and I have to be able to deliver the same information to you as I would to somebody else that's completely different personality and be able to communicate the same idea and accomplish the same things without saying, this is how I'm going to say it. This is the one structured email that I'm going to send to everybody, and everybody's going to exactly perceive what I want to, convey, which is the problem. A lot of times in the military, that person sends out the email. I put the email out. I told everybody, yes, but everybody digests information in a different way. So you have to understand that if you pass this word through email, there's a good 30% of the people who received that email and read it that didn't understand what you were talking about.
It sucks because you literally have to email, text, and call people, like, just so the word gets through. It seems like, is that what your case was as well? I don't know. Like, that's what I'm just trying to get at, is it's just like, it's not just an email. You gotta do everything else as well in order for, the success of the military, in a sense, or like, the success of that person.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to think, even though that sucks, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is the old school way of doing this. You had a formation.
Right.
You had a big ass formation. Everybody was there, and everybody got the word from the horse's mouth, right? The CO said, this is what we're doing. We're deploying, mid-November. These are the deliverables that I want you guys to do, right? These are the 10 things that I need everybody to do. And the officers would like take notes and blah, blah, blah. And then they fucking let them all go. And then those company commanders would turn around and have their own formation and say, hey, these are the 10 deliverables that we need to do. Here's how we're going to do them. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Sergeants take charge. And then all the different squads, or all the different platoons would have their own formation and get more in detail. That was a traditional way of doing it, and it works. It's just very time consuming. And I think the modern military is still trying to refine how to accomplish that, the proven way of passing word and accomplishing things in the military. And in the modern day, where you have a good part of your unit is on leave or is on a FAP, right? FAPs are huge things now. You never have all your Marines. If you, whatever your MOS was, I guarantee you there was a good at least 20% of the people that were supposed to be there were not. Whether it's because of leave, somebody's paternity leave, somebody's emergency leave, somebody's on a FAP, somebody's, whatever. Like that always happens in the modern military. We're trying to fit, 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Right.
And we're still trying to figure out how to do that. And I think right now, as it stands, some of the guys that are the most successful at communicating, just like you said, do those things. They send out an email. They send out a text to everybody. They have a meeting with all their top dogs and pass it there. And we now even do a lot of groups, like that Group Me app and shit like that. Like people are doing that kind of stuff. There's all types of ways of doing it. But everybody complains about it, right? Everybody complains about, why do we have to have this meeting when I just got an email about it and then I got a text about it? Why do I have to? Like we just love to complain, but in reality, that's why we have to. Is because there's a good amount of people that didn't get the word and are gonna fuck it up.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's a fucking travesty to do shit Barney style. And that's what he's pretty much saying, folks, is when people don't give a word sometimes, you gotta do shit Barney style and have the old school formation, and it is not fun. It's 15 minutes prior to 15 minutes prior. Now, do you have any more safe rounds? And Soldier Heart, do you have any safe rounds for us today? Say
Nope,
friends as
Redcon
in
one.
like,
Redcon1musicgroup.com is our website. If you can look up Soldier Hard or J-Deuce, Redcon One Music Group. We're on iTunes, Spotify. Just give it a listen, give it a chance. Go on Spotify and look up Redcon One Music Group, and just give us some streams. If you don't like it, delete that shit. If you like it, then you can keep following us. And like I said, we're gonna put out some videos. We're gonna put out a new album we just got together.
September 11th, Never Quit, Soldier Hard and J-Deuce.
Yep, there's plenty of albums out there that we have already, but we're always bringing new stuff. Go on YouTube and look up Redcon One Music Group or J-Deuce or Soldier Hard, and we have plenty of music videos out there. Give it a listen. I think the biggest thing that we ask is, especially for the veterans out there, is if you can become aware of some of the videos that we have, you might not need it, but I guarantee you know somebody that does.
Yeah.
And the reason that I am 38 years old and still rapping, the reason I'm a staff sergeant still rapping, the reason I was a drill instructor who was not afraid to say, yeah, I'm a rapper also, is because I get messages periodically from random people in America saying, hey brother, like your music saved my life. Literally, I was ready to end it. I was going through a dark time. Your music got me through it, and it's the reason I'm here today. When you get that, you can't stop. So again,
45.
yeah.
Still going.
oh wow.
You-
I mean, you guys helped my friend Tim out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like I said, I never knew, never heard of very ignorant as to, Redcon One and everything. Never heard of him until my buddy Tim. So I mean, and I know he's dealt with his mental demons and whatnot. And I know I don't want to speak for the guy, but I know you've helped him out, you know what I mean? So it's like, I appreciate, so thank you for helping my friend out, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
thank you for being on the pod as well.
Yep, and we'll do it again some other time so we can get to some boot camp stories and
Yes.
and stuff like that. I know originally that's kind of what we were talking about. Being a drill instructor on both coasts, I got plenty of those, and I know people like to hear those. We can do that some other time too.
Yes, I would. Yes, I know the audience would love to hear some stories about boot camp, and I would too. I mean, honestly, whenever I fucking die, I hope I come back as like a fucking fly, so I could be that fly on the wall. And like not even that, you live like a day or two, so I think it's perfect. Maybe like Groundhog Day.
Like I want another go at it, but I don't want it to like take forever.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I ain't got time. I just got time to eat, maybe, like make more fly babies, make love, like listen to some drama. You know what I mean?
Eat
Like
shit, which we kind of do already anyways, it's like shit. Like
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That's true. Yeah, that'd be kind of dirty. That'd be kind of shitty, actually.
All right, well, it's been fun. Like I said, we'll do it again some other time, and yeah, redcon1musicgroup.com, Redcon One Music Group on iTunes and YouTube, and we'll be hearing more from each other.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, fellas.